the night he came home. Again. But not that other time he came home again. This is a brand new time he came home again. But not the other time it was a brand new time that he came home again. This franchise has more timelines than Legend of Zelda at this point. Dear God.
It's like they just pressed the reset button so many times.
Eventually we're gonna get one of these sequels right, damn it.
Well,
I think they finally did.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
It's weird, like, when I heard about this, I was so, like, bad-mouthing, like, the idea. I'll admit, I was shit-talking this idea. Because, just let Michael Myers rest, guys. I really honestly feel that, like, out of all the slashers out there, the Halloween franchise has the worst track record. Like, the first one is considered a masterpiece of horror. Everyone loves that. And then after that, like, a lot of people out there actually consider Season of the Witch to be the next best one in the franchise, which was the one where they went, we're just going to drop Michael Myers completely and make this an anthology series, and it has nothing to do with him. Yeah, the Halloween franchise, I know there are people out there who love each of them, but man, most critics out there, they poo-poo this entire franchise. So then they tried to reboot it with Halloween H2O, which I'll admit that's one of the ones I have not seen, so I'm not going to judge that in any way. But I've heard most people like, it's better than what we have been getting from it. It's all right. And then they immediately take that with the Busta Rhymes one, the Resurrection, I think it's called. And then they're like, well, fuck that. Let's just hand it over to Rob Zombie. And those, yeah. So now they're finally back. And what they're doing this time is just like with Halloween H2O, they're saying, well, nothing happened in any of these except for the first one. This is just immediately after the first one, which again is exactly what Halloween H2O did. But my dog wants to play fetch. Yay! Go get it, girl! Yay!
Yeah!
Yeah! Alright, so, sorry for that distraction. Anyway, but yeah, so they're going back to the original. And this is where none of that other stuff happened. None of the Cult Thorn stuff. None of the reality TV show Trapped in Big Brother house. Like, Michael Myers got caught 40 years ago, and he's just been in this insane asylum the entire time.
Yeah, so, like, this takes place in present day. Like,
yeah, so it's basically just a look at, like, what happened to Laurie after she just kind of went nuts after what happened that one fateful night. Mm-hmm. And she tried to get some kind of a life, but it never really worked out. Yeah. Like, she had 2 marriages that just dissolved. She had a daughter who she apparently just drove completely nuts. Yeah. She spent her daughter's entire childhood teaching her how to shoot guns, teaching her how to fight, teaching her how to build traps. There's, like, one quick flashback that you get to her, like, talking about her past. And it looks like she was raised by Jigsaw. Like, there's a moment in which you see her, like, working on a trap to come down around her. Which the mother, by the way, is played by, I'm going to have to look this up, but she's played by the person who plays the mom in everything. She's the person who plays the mom in Ant-Man. She played the mom in Jurassic World. Like, that's just her IMDb name, is just the mom. But the guy who plays the dad in here is also so just the dad in everything. Like, they picked the most parenty parents you have ever seen in one of these movies. Let's see, Halloween 2018. The mom was played by Judy Greer, and the dad was played by James, last name being cut off, James Jude Courtney. No, wait, that's Michael Myers. Sorry, wow, that would have been weird. Wow, the dad gets low billing on this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not that important of a character.
He gets smaller billing than the kid that the girl was babysitting. Wow.
That being said, he was a really good child actor.
Huss. Yeah. Toby Huss is his name. Okay, but yeah, it's played by those two. And yeah, they are so just like the most parenty parents. And there comes a moment in here in which you see the mom talking about what Laurie like did to her. And I had to stop and think, this is probably like the most dimensions this actress has ever given to a mom character. But then she'll turn right back around and play just the mom all over again.
Like, I feel like that's kind of like her way of saying, her way of like trying to be a normal mom.
Trying to like push it out?
Yeah,
because there's a moment after Michael Myers escapes that like Laurie comes to her daughter's house. She's like, Mom, the world is not all dark and scary. It's full of love and happiness. And like she was like, literally that's the things that she listed off. And I was like, either that's bad writing or it's brilliant writing and I can't tell. Either that was someone who was like, I don't know, like, what's the opposite of bad things? Love? Sure. Or it's them just really coming in here hard and saying, she has been tormented by her mom so much. She is just trying to fill her life with as much fluffy happiness as she possibly can. And at the very end of this, you see a little bit of dimensions of, no, she's kind of got a little bit of a dark side to her. I wish we'd gotten more of that. But it's weird that there's kind of like 3 protagonists in this movie, and they each like rank at a different level of being protagonists. And Laurie is definitely the most protagonist-y.
Yeah.
Then there's her granddaughter, because she's the new Laurie. She's the new like teenager. And then the mom is right underneath that. And I understand them ranking it like that, but you could have bumped the mom up just to, giving her a little bit more in there. I feel like we didn't get enough dimensions on her, but I did like what we did get in there. Speaking of Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis again, which, goddamn, man, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's good to see her in something again, because she was slowly just becoming that person who was like one step away from being on like a Lifetime made-for-TV movie, which stinks because she's insanely talented. I can only imagine that she just has like a bad agent who just didn't get her like really good roles.
Yeah.
Because she had a little bit of a time when she was just kind of in stinkers one after another. But yeah, in this, she is acting her ass off, and it was good to remind myself, oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is an amazing actress. But you see, she is just tormented. She just has been paranoid ever since that night.
Yeah.
And I love that that's what they decided to go with her. Because there are moments where you see her trying to like reconnect with the family. And I really dug those moments. Like a moment in which after her granddaughter's graduation, she shows up to dinner, and everybody's like, oh, you weren't really invited. Yeah, and she's like immediately like just drinking heavily. But I will admit, I think that there are moments where they get a little too cartoonish with it. Because again, it kind of comes back to the like, they want to make her like the good Jigsaw almost, I feel. When you start seeing like all the different traps that she has laid out.
Well, I don't know about the good Jigsaw. Like, that's an interesting way of saying it. I was thinking like the badass grandma.
I think that she was already the badass grandma. But I'm talking about when she has got like a Batman descending staircase with a special button that opens it up. Like she's got her own special bunker there. Which, give her a special bunker, sure. But like you flip a switch and now furniture is moving around in there. Like it's the old Spider-Man His Amazing Friends cartoon. I was like, alright, that's one of the things that to me makes Halloween so special, at least the original. Because after that, it just went fucking apeshit. But the original is that it did feel very real. It did feel like a crazy person escaped into a neighborhood and it's just killing people. That's it. And Laurie is a very real teenager who has to escape from this very real killer. That is the story. But when you kind of get to like this level with it, with like, again, it's not like, she's pulling out ray guns or anything. But there does come a point where like you see how decked out her house is, and it's like, now we're kind of getting away from that feeling of relatability, of that realism feeling.
I guess so, but at the same time, it's like, it feels like Michael's insanity sort of like rubbed off on her. Like,
I like that actually, and there did come a point in here in which I actually had a feeling of like, oh shit, is she going to become the new Michael Myers? Is she going to become like the new slasher villain in here? Like, I actually did get that feeling that might be where this franchise might go. Because there comes a moment in here, I'm not spoiling anything, we will save this until the spoiler part to go into details on this, but there comes a moment in which it kind of looks like Michael Myers is out of the picture. And I was seriously looking at that like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be flipping kidding me if you take Michael Myers out like that. Because we also had like half an hour left in this movie, and then it would like cut back to Jamie Lee Curtis just being like, no, I have to fight him. I have to be the one to take him out. I was like, oh shit. Like, I actually did get that feeling like, oh, is that where you're going with this? Because
like, I feel like she's being driven insane with vengeance.
Yeah. Like, she dedicated her life to, she didn't just want him locked up forever. She has been saying she has wanted him to break out all this time so she could kill him. Yeah, alright, that's not exactly healthy behavior. It's understandable behavior.
Yes.
After what happened, yeah. Also, this is gonna sound really weird. But in the beginning of this, you see the granddaughter, is hanging out with her friends, and there's one who's like the stoner troublemaker kid, and he was talking about what happened to her grandmother, and he said, yeah, but when you think about all the stuff going on in the world today, the guy killed 5 people, that doesn't really sound like all that much. And it felt to me like the perfect, like, modern day, like, kind of how, like, someone growing up today with the internet would look at something like that. Like, that felt, like, actually very believable to me, because our world is just fucked up these days. Every single day there's some brand new horror story about something going down. And it kind of felt like very sad realism to have this guy come in here.
I guess, but at the same time, it's like, murder is still a bad thing.
I'm not saying I agree with him that that's not a big deal. I'm saying, like, it's a great way of showing, like, how much time has passed and how different the world is today, that, like, people are so jaded to the horrifying shit out there.
Yeah, I guess so.
And so I felt like it was kind of appropriate for someone to come in here and kind of say that, just to kind of go like, oh shit, man, these people, like, they're so desensitized to violence because you have, every single day, like, the new 24-hour news and Twitter and everywhere else on the internet just constantly like, this horrible thing happened, this horrible thing happened, this horrible thing happened, this horrible thing happened. So I kind of enjoyed that line from him because it kind of showed that, like, yeah, somebody who didn't grow up in that age doesn't quite understand, like, how horrifying something like that is, but also somebody who just reads about this stuff on the internet all day, happening to other people, doesn't quite understand how terrifying it is to have that, like, in your backyard, to have that going on in your neighborhood. I thought that was actually a really smart line that they put in there. So, yeah, I actually think that a good chunk of this is pretty smart. Every now and again, it gets a little bit too cartoonish to me, but not like the previous Halloween films did. This is still, like, really close to home. This is still, for the most part, like, 100% believable in here. And also, I love the characters in here.
Oh, yeah.
That is something that I complain about in so many slasher films, that they try and make you hate some of the characters so that way you don't feel bad if bad things happen to them. Even the characters in here who would say or do something kind of dickish would then immediately come back around in the next scene and be so nice and so charismatic and so charming that you're like, oh, I like them again. Like, there's a girl babysitting this kid on Halloween night, and she is calling up her friends like, yeah, we're gonna smoke weed. Like, she doesn't actually say that.
Yeah.
She says, we're gonna do some alakazam. And then the little kid's like, I know you're inviting people over here to smoke pot. And I'm like, man, that's kind of a dick move that you're gonna smoke pot and make out with your boyfriend while you're supposed to be babysitting. But then she's so nice, and she and the little kid have, like, such a good back and forth. And then, like, she does the good babysitter thing of, like, okay, I'll leave the door open, I'll check inside here, make sure no one's in here. I was like, I like her again. Like, man, that was a quick turnaround on that one. Or there's another kid in here who he has a crush on the granddaughter.
Yeah, her name is Alice, by the way.
Thank you, God. I didn't want to just keep calling her granddaughter the entire time. But he's got a crush on Alice, and he kind of makes a move on her. And
like, after her boyfriend like, cheated on her, so.
Well, that's a little bit of a spoiler.
Oops.
Anyway, sorry. Okay, that's a tiny spoiler.
Yeah, it's not like.
Tiny. That's not a big deal. Yeah. Everything else we're saving for the spoiler part.
Yes.
But yeah, he kind of makes a move on her, and after that, you're kind of like, oh, shoot, that guy, he seemed kind of nice in the beginning, but maybe he actually is kind of a jerk. But then he's, like, really apologizing, and then he's just left there in someone's backyard. He's like, oh, I screwed up. And then, like, he's talking to someone in there. He's like, did you ever just like a girl, but she doesn't like you back? And it's like, okay, he's not a jerk. He just misread signals, and he's really sorry about this. And, okay, he's just a kid. That's all. It's like, he's not a bad person. He's just somebody who misread signals and screwed up his chance to maybe get with the girl they liked. And, okay, yeah, this is one of those movies where even when somebody does something kind of jerkish, they immediately turn around and show, like, dimensions to them. Even, like, the smallest characters in here, you get, like, a feeling of who they are. Like, it really feels like this movie was like, are we going to murder someone? Let's make sure the audience likes them first. Like, there's 2 cops in here who, okay, this one, I don't feel like this one's a spoiler because it should be obvious at this point they're introduced only to be killed. But there's 2 cops that get introduced in here, and they're just having a conversation about sandwiches and what they pack for lunch. And the movie, like, holds on that for, like, 3 minutes of this conversation, and they have, like, really good rapport with each other. Like, you really get that sense, oh, these guys have been buddies for a long time, here's their backstory, here's the things that they know. Oh, man, I actually really like these guys I just got introduced to. that must mean they're about to die. But yeah, this is an amazing thing. This movie is actually able to make you like care about people. Like, I actually felt bad when people were about to die in this. Like, when it looked like certain characters were about to get it, I just kept looking at them like, no, oh no, they were so good with this thing that they did over here, no. That's how you should feel in a slasher film. This movie did a great job with that. Let me see. And as for Michael himself, yeah, he's very intimidating. He is very frightening. Like, I will admit, I kept looking at like all the trailers in this thing, and I was like, yeah, you know what? If Laurie's that old, then Michael is even older. Michael is like mid to late 60s at this point. Like, how much trouble is he really going to cause in Haddonfield? A lot. We didn't plan that, by the way. Yeah. Watching him like just walk around on Halloween, like seemed like all the trick-or-treaters running around with Michael there, it actually like made me go, oh, don't hurt those kids. No, Michael. No.
Yeah, but like the fact that there are so many trick-or-treaters around like shows just how much time has passed. Like, oh, they don't have to worry about like a murderer coming out on Halloween. These kids can have fun.
There was that moment in which like these kids bump into him and they're like, sorry, mister, and then it just pans up and it's like, it's Michael there just staring out. And even though Michael Myers' mask has no expression on it whatsoever, just the way that he's like looking out at everything, you get that sense that he's looking out like, wow, this is all different. Like, the world has changed in 40 years. Which, it's not even like 40 years for Michael, because he only got out for one night the last time. Before that, he was locked up when he was 6 years old. This guy has basically just been in a time capsule his entire life. So yeah, you do kind of get that sense of him looking out at everything that he's just kind of like, wow, I'm in a different world right now. And they actually do a great job of shooting all of his kills. There is one sequence after he like just gets unleashed on Haddonfield and he starts going from one house to the next. It's all one shot of him like going like someone's garage, getting a weapon, going to their house and killing them, walking out the front door, going over to the neighbor's house, walking past their house to the next neighbor's house. You hear like the lady on the phone talking. He sneaks in through the back. It's all one shot, which granted, there are some cheats in there. There are some definite moments where you can look at it and go, oh, okay, that definitely was where you did the secret cut in there. But yeah, man, they still tried to make it look like one shot and they did a great job with it. This film actually is incredibly well done.
Yeah, it's like, I even like the little homages to like the original Halloween.
There's some good ones in here.
Yeah, like that's how you do it. It's like, the way you don't do it is with the Ghostbusters remake.
They never once stop in here and go, oh, it's that thing from the first movie. Like, no, none of that. There is one in here that I love. We'll talk about in the spoiler section. But yeah, there is one little like homage to the original that I thought was fantastic.
I like the opening credits.
That was great.
Yeah, because, you know,
the moment that those opening credits started, I was like, oh, we're in for something here. These people know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's like, in the first Halloween, it's just a jack-o'-lantern while the credits keep rolling. But in this one, it's a rotten jack-o'-lantern, but then it's filmed in reverse. So that's basically
It comes back to life.
Yeah, it comes back to life. It's basically the film's way of saying, yeah, we're doing this all over again. We're going to do it right. Like...
That, but it's also, like, that came right after we saw these two journalists / podcasters go into the insane asylum where Michael has been kept, and Michael's just standing there in the middle of a field, like, chained to the floor, like this is fucking Arkham Asylum or something. And he pulls out the mask and like, Michael, talk to me, Michael. Michael, you can feel the mask, can't you? Michael! And then, bam, cuts to the credits, and then that's when the jack-o'-lanterns come. So it's not just like, oh, hey, the franchise is coming back. It's also like, Michael was that rotten jack-o'-lantern. This idiot bringing in this stupid-ass mask.
Like, he's basically, he's waking up the evil inside
Exactly.
him.
That's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
like, this is a damn good opening credit sequence. You about to say another one?
I was about to say, like, everyone else in the asylum was, like, going nuts. Like, the other mental patients were, like, getting, like, anxious
That
and
was
nervous.
another one of those moments where I was like, I like this thing of, like, him reawakening Michael, but the other mental patients just like, no, just, like, screaming and howling when the mask is brought. I was like, alright, it's not supernatural, man. That was the previous franchise. This is...
Like, I think like it would make more sense if they just had the guard dogs barking. Which they did.
That I thought was good. Yeah. But like everybody else in the asylum like losing their mind at the sight of this mask, I was like, come on, man, that's a little too much. But the guard dogs barking I actually thought was good. Yeah, it's like there's just those little moments in here where I feel like it just goes a little too far with what it's trying to do. However, there are a couple things in here that I feel are a little too much like the original. For example, the new Loomis, who they literally just call the new Loomis in here. The actor who played his original psychiatrist, Loomis, he passed away in real life. So, of course, they haven't passed away in this world. But he has someone who was his protege, who he is now the person in charge of Michael Myers. And that guy is just Loomis all over. He's not... He's Loomis in behavior, like in his mannerisms, the way that he speaks. He's exactly like Loomis. However, Loomis was the worst psychiatrist in the world because he was just, we have to just kill Michael. Just flat out, just fuck that guy. He's a monster. Yeah, there is nothing about him, which I understand.
Yeah.
That's the entire thing that makes Michael Myers is that, hey, a doctor who swore to help people his entire life is saying, kill this guy. There is no hope for him. I get that that's part of the appeal, but it always just kind of cracks me up that it's like, well, like, was there ever a moment where you thought you could help this guy? Like,
well, like, he's probably been working with him since he was 6 years old when he first,
he worked with him for, like, 20 years.
Yeah, so it's like, at that point, it's like, if you can't, like,
I understand it. It's just, it always kind of cracks me up, like, when people make jokes about what a bad Dr. Loomis was. But this guy, he's more just fascinated by Michael. Which, that leads me to the two problems I have with this guy. The first is that he's just Loomis all over again, and there literally comes a moment which is like, well, you should probably patrol around the city with him riding with us. I was like, oh, you mean like Loomis did? All right, sure. And there's a moment when Laurie meets him, and she literally goes, you're the new Loomis. And I was like, wow, the movie even flat out admits it. Like, the movie flat out admits, we need another one, guys. We need another person here. But, and this one, I apologize to anyone who considers this one a spoiler, but I'll just say there's a little bit of a twist with him, and if you didn't see that coming a mile away, you weren't paying attention. Yeah, when that twist comes, I was like, wow, no one, Bueller, anyone, who here is shocked? There were people gasping at everything in this movie. No one gasped at that moment. Yeah, I understand. It is, where that twist takes his character, it is something that makes him very different from Loomis, and it is something that does make him stand out, and it also is kind of appropriate for someone who had been studying Michael Myers all this time, but it's so obvious. So that is a little bit of a problem that I have as well. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else, aside from just the fact that this movie, I feel like it repeats the first one a little too much.
Yeah, just maybe, but...
Yeah, just, I felt like a little, like it just kind of followed similar beats a little too much, up until the third act. Third act is different, but up until then, actually it's just the second act. Because first act is establishing everything that happened to Laurie and her family, so that's all very new and fascinating. Third act is the big final showdown between Laurie and Michael, so that's all very fascinating. It's just kind of that middle part where I was like, this just feels like I've seen this before.
Yeah, it's like the middle part is like basically Michael returning to his hometown, which is basically what happened in the first Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's him coming back to Haddonfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
Or Haddonfield, Texas, based on where the sheriff acts like he's from. That was another example of like when they try to put character in here. I was like, that's just a little bit too cartoonish.
And it's like
because the sheriff is walking around with like a big ass cowboy hat on.
Not every sheriff is like a cowboy western.
I kept looking at him like, you're in Illinois. Why are you acting like that?
Although who knows? Maybe that's how sheriffs act in Illinois. We don't know.
I highly doubt it. But anyway, yeah, so that just kind of cracked me up as well. But yeah, so it's really just kind of that middle part where I was like, it's good because it's shot very well. I like all these characters. But story-wise, I kind of feel like I've just seen this a little too... I feel like I've seen this before. That's really all there is to it. But yeah, this movie, I gotta give it so many points because it just was able to create great characters. The dialogue is so good in here, and it's shot incredibly well. So yeah, I'm giving this an 8.
Yeah, I think I'll give it an 8 too.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between 7.5 and an 8, but I gotta admit, it's really darn impressive how they took something that I was not looking forward to in any way, and it's definitely the second best of the entire franchise. It actually made me look at this thing that went, there is no reason to do this, And it actually made me go, okay, there actually was a reason to do this. You actually, if you were going to end this, and for the love of God, end this, do not, I know it did well in the theaters, but don't come back again and go, oh, guess what? There's another No, you did that after Halloween H2O, and you got Busta Rhymes getting into a fist fight with Michael Myers in the Big Brother house. Don't do that. No, it's over with. It's done. Yeah, so it does kind of feel like someone who was an actual fan of this movie actually said, we can't let it go out like that. It's a 4-year anniversary. We have to actually end this thing. Yeah. It's a good ending. This actually feels like what the sequel to Halloween should have been all along. You should have just waited 4 years and then done this. Yeah, so I'm giving it an 8. Yeah. All right, spoiler time. The big twist, for anybody who didn't know, is there comes a moment in which the new Loomis is riding around with the cop, who was one of the cops in the first film, which I didn't remember him at all. Sorry. But yeah, he was one of the cops in the first film. But they're riding around, and they've got the granddaughter in the back of the car, and they spy Michael Myers, and he just drives up onto the side of the curb and hits Michael Myers full force, and the doctor comes out and goes, no, why'd you do that? He's dead. And I went, hold up.
No, there's no...
Michael's gonna come back up, he's gonna stab someone. But then the doctor takes out, like, this scalpel he's been holding, and he stabs the cop and kills him. And he's talking, and then he grabs Michael Myers' mask and puts it on his face. He's like, so this is what you felt like. And then throws, like, Michael's, like, corpse into the back of the car with her. And he's like, when he wakes up, he'll want his face. And I was like, please, for the love of God, tell me you did, after all this hype and build-up, kill off Michael Myers before the big confrontation with Laurie, and now new Loomis is the new Michael Myers? Like, he's gonna go around killing people with the mask on to try and, like, understand what was in Michael's mind.
Like, when he said, when Michael wakes up, I'm like, bitch, he better wake up.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, my thought was is that Michael was dead and he's just gone crazy. He's like, no, he'll be back. He's gotta come back. He can't be gone right now. He's the audience at that point. Yeah, I was like, you gotta be fucking, what? Like, I really got that feeling.
Because it's like...
Like, he was, like, going to go, like, no, Michael will come back. And they'd, like, put the mask on his face, like, Michael is here now. I was like, I thought that's where they were going. Like, you got no
It takes more than a car to destroy Michael.
Like, remember, this is... All the sequels are gone. So all that, like, the cult of
Thorns... I know, I
understand
that, but I was like, even in the first movie, it took, like, a lot to just knock him out, and even then he would still get up and get going.
True, yes, he can take a beating. But we don't have he got blown up, he got his eyeball shot out.
No.
Yeah, we don't have Wolverine, Michael Myers anymore.
No, but we have very sturdy. Very sturdy Michael.
Yes.
Yes.
The IKEA of Michaels. Yes, he's reliable and he's sturdy. And it's by Blumhouse, so it's cheap. Yeah, so that was the moment like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But thankfully he does come back.
Yes.
But still, the twist with the doctor, I was like, was anyone surprised by this? Anyone at all? Like, I would have been more shocked if he had become the actual Michaels than he's just fascinated by Michael and he wants to study him. Like, I knew from the second that they found that bus with everyone walking around and they saw him inside the bus, I went, he let Michael go. He absolutely let Michael go and Michael killed people because, yeah, okay, that's exactly what happened. But the other callback to the original Halloween that I really wanted to talk about was, there comes that moment in which Laurie gets thrown out of the building.
Oh, yeah.
And she's there on the ground, and Michael looks down at her. And, yeah, that's exactly how the first Halloween ends. Except then they look down again, and Michael's body is gone. Michael looks down, and she's laying there in the exact same way. Michael goes to, like, try and find other people to kill. Then he comes back and looks down, and her body is gone. I was like,
yep.
That is okay. I almost gave a standing ovation at that one. That was good. I love that one. Also, that entire sequence of them at the end, I feel like it went on a little bit long, just a tiny bit long, but there's still good, like, great moments of suspense in there. And I love that she's got all these mannequins around.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's been using them for target practice this entire time. And there's a great moment where Alice comes in, and she's been, like, running through the woods to find her grandma's place. And she, like, stumbles across the shooting range, and she just sees all these decapitated mannequins with holes blown in them. And they shoot that like she just stumbled into, like, some horrifying trap. And I love that because it does kind of make you understand the mom even more, that, yeah, this is kind of what she saw her entire life growing up. But there's that great moment in which she's looking around, trying to find Michael. She has no idea where he is, but then she, like, turns back around, and now one of the mannequins has blood on it. I thought that was great. This movie also does an amazing job of making you really feel like no one's safe, because they made you like so many people in here, and the people you liked ended up dying. Like, I was upset when the babysitter died. I love the relationship that she had with that little kid, even though it was just, like, one scene. And in that one scene, it was able to make me go, oh, no, not her. And even, like, her stoner boyfriend, who had been, like, blowing up pumpkins, I expected the moment trouble arrived, he was going to run out of that house. No, he picks up a knife to go and confront Michael Myers. He's stabbed against the wall, so it doesn't work. But I was like, okay, well, even he's got something going for him in here. But there comes that moment in which Michael is choking Laurie and just bashing her head against the door, which is how we've seen him kill about 3 other people so far in this film. And I actually thought, oh my God, they're going to kill off Laurie. Like, that would actually be a twist that I would actually be okay with.
Yeah, I would not. It's like, I can't, like, there's no way you could die like that. Come on now.
Yeah, I could understand people being pissed at it, but I would have been like, wow, this movie just knocked me on my ass. Mm-hmm. Like, you spent an hour and 20 minutes now building up to this big final confrontation, and Michael takes her out instantly, and now it's the daughter who's in charge of this franchise, and the daughter has to avenge her mom.
I kind of would have liked it if the daughter was more, proactive.
I kind of, like, Laurie is definitely the biggest protagonist.
Yeah, obviously, but
I kind of actually think it would have been cool if the mom was the protagonist, and then she gets to see, like, and then we get to see, like, how Laurie appears to her mom more, but then we also kind of get to see, like, her kind of realizing that her mom was right the entire time, or, you know, maybe I just wanted the mom to have a little bit more of a role in here. I wanted to see, like, a little bit more of her journey in here.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. It's like, I understand you want the mom to have, like, more of a bigger role. I kind of wanted Alice to have more personality.
Really? Okay.
I kind of felt like she was the most uninteresting.
She's the most all-American average
teenager.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's like, maybe.
I can understand that.
Yeah, like,
I can understand that.
A little too perfect, honestly. Like,
honestly, I was okay with that because it kept reminding me of, like, how kind of perfect Laurie was in the first movie. So I kept kind of like, yeah, she's the new Laurie.
Yeah,
like,
fair enough. I mean,
but I can understand exactly your problem.
Yeah, but it's like I wanted her to, like, be perfect at first, but then, like, sort of, like, you know, grow some balls in a way and just like.
Okay, I see. Let her fight back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. I actually really dug the moment when the mom fights back there, though, because you see her, like, getting her gun, and it's the gun that she, like, carved her initials into, so you know it's hers. And she's got the gun, she's aiming up there. Michael rips the freaking counter off the floor so he can find the secret stairway, and he starts coming down, and she is screaming out, "Mom, I can't do it, Mom, I'm so sorry, I could never be like this, I'm so sorry." And then, like, the moment he gets, like, there within range, just goes, "Gotcha," and shoots him. And I was like, okay, because I honestly kept thinking to myself, we saw, like, flashbacks where, like, she was being taught, like, Batman, basically, like, where she was getting all this training of how to fight. I was like, and it all leads up to you not being able to fight back? Oh, okay, never mind. All right, that's smart.
Yeah, I like that part.
I thought that was pretty dope. That was good.
Yeah, I guess I kind of want Alice to team up with her, though, like.
The way I look at it is that Alice got none of the training that she, like, Alice was specifically kept away.
I understand, but like I said, I kind of want her to, like.
I can understand. You don't want one of your protagonists in these films to be kind of like just the victim.
Yeah,
I can understand that, yeah. But yeah, really darn good film, and I think it is kind of the perfect way for us to go out on Thorgiween. So yeah, thank you everybody who stuck with us all month long. Starting tomorrow, we go back to our regular schedule, which means we are going to have brand new movie reviews this weekend. They won't be going up Friday, though, because I'm going to rest all day Thursday. I'm going to chill. But tonight we will be doing some streams over on Twitch. We're going to be streaming some spooky games. And tomorrow morning, unless I just go into a coma and completely pass out because I've been pulling like all-nighters nonstop this month, we are also going to be streaming on Twitch the Nintendo Direct. So that's what we have planned for the next few days. But yeah, thank you guys. I can't talk anymore. We've been doing this all month long. So I'm just going to say, until next year, happy Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.